All right, you stay right there.
All right, Ben. All right, well, okay, ready? Mm-hmm. All right, everybody. So today's episode, we got somebody we've known for a while, Ben.
Absolutely, man. I had the pleasure of meeting this young man early in the early days of my childhood, and he was really one of the first friends that I ever had. Really brought a lot to my attention and, all that good stuff. But known him for a while, and I'm excited to have him on. Mr. Chase Summers. Come on in, Chase.
Here he is, back from his piss.
Yeah, like 3 times.
There we
I'm just
go.
gonna fall getting in here.
Yeah, the headphones.
Yo, the R means right. Took me a second, man.
All right. All right, man. So, Chase.
Morning, guys.
How are things, brother?
Things are solid.
Yeah.
How was Poland?
Poland was cool. Poland was cold and rainy and windy, and
So you wouldn't
nice
live there?
I would not live there, no. But it was a cool place to visit. I was there for 2 weeks. This is a lot of work. We traveled a little bit, like just around. We had like a company retreat and all that fun stuff. But
And so what are you doing out in Poland? Like, why were you there?
I went and visited our headquarters. So we're a fully remote company, but so I'm the only U.S. employee.
Nice. Oh, man. That's cool.
And so I went out and visited with our team in Poland, and then we rented out an office for the 2 weeks I was there and worked out of the office. And then we took people up to a company retreat. So they're all over Poland. So it's they're even remote in Poland. So got everybody together and spent a weekend just kind of hanging out. But it was a good trip. No, would not live there, but definitely fun to be in the presence, because I work with these people all the time, and so it was nice to be with them.
What do you do there? What is your role?
Like, what is
So my title, I guess the titles are kind of weird in business because it never means anything anymore.
Right.
But I'm the director of sales and customer success. So basically anything that is involving our customers or potential customers.
And what company is that for? What's the company name?
Data Edo. And so it's a data management software.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Data Edo.
Data Edo.
Yeah, it's what happens when you get a bunch of drunk Polish guys and be like, hey, what are we going to name this company?
Okay. That is something, dude. So what is the work environment like in Poland? I mean, is it comparable to over here? Do they have 9 to 5s? Like,
yeah, I mean, ours is very untraditional. Mm-hmm. We kind of work when we work. It's not like a 9 to 5 now, because, I mean, you got to think, they're 6 hours ahead. So a lot of times I'll either be up really early or up really late. And we have customers all over the world. So sometimes I'll meet with people in New Zealand, in Australia, even Iceland, just weird time zones. So I have to be up at weird times or start at early times. So it's much more not really a structured time.
so
I'm dragging on with that. I know. It's weird to explain.
I was just thinking okay, so for context, I asked Chase how New Zealand was a minute ago. That's why we started laughing.
and he said, you mean Poland? So,
It's a much longer flight.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
but
different.
that's awesome, man. So, and how long have you been in that role? How long have you been doing this?
Almost a year and a half at this company, yeah. So I came in, have almost 1,000 customers.
Okay.
And everybody ranging from Fortune 100, like AT&T, John Deere.
Sure.
Big companies all the way down to small consulting
up.
firms. So it's been a cool experience just to see a ton of different companies.
So where did you come from? Like, what kind of background did you have before that?
So before that, I left my previous role. I was we called it head of sales. It was like a true startup. So it was like a 3-4 man, depending on the time, team, and it was a travel management software.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I've been in software for almost 4 years, which
Nice.
is crazy to think about. It's a really cool industry. It's
Soft.
flexible. It's soft. Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about
Coming to you live, by the way. I see, not to cut Dustin off or anything, but I know that Chase is a man of puns. He likes to think he's quite punny. And, Dustin and I are trying to do different things, so I got this drum set down here. Anybody got any puns that coming out? Continue.
don't remember what I was saying.
Well, all right.
You can't let Dustin off track. I noticed that in other podcasts.
That's
You
bad,
get
bro.
Dustin's train of thought off, it's gone.
Yeah, because I'm thinking 100 miles an hour. I can't keep up. But I know what I was saying now. Me and you had talked about you doing that startup, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, you helped grow that business and start it, and how hard it was. So you had to have losses at the beginning, right?
Oh my God, yeah, that goes back pretty far.
Yeah. So how was that?
Dude, it was interesting. So to start at the beginning, I went to school at UNC Wilmington.
Nice.
Fresh out of high school. And I guess like the losses started in the beginning because my first semester at UNC Wilmington, I was a business major. And so, you still do like your prereqs and stuff like that.
Sure.
And my first, one of my first main classes was math. And dude, I hadn't had math since sophomore year of high school.
Chase no do math.
Chase no do math.
Ben no do math
and,
either.
So I go in this math class and I get like halfway through the semester and it's like our big like midterm whatever and I bomb it. And it's like there I was grading all my other subjects, but I've always hated math. And so I was like, oh crap, I may have to drop this math class. But at Wilmington, like your business major is made up of a ton of different math classes.
Sure.
And so I was like, okay, obviously this is going to be pretty sucky if I'm struggling with math this early.
Yeah.
And so that was, I guess, the first L. And so I started because I was grading all the other subjects. So I started reaching out to potential employers, I guess, like jobs that I would want to do. And I was like, hey, does it matter if I have a business degree or a communications degree to do like I knew I wanted to do something sales, business related.
That's smart, actually.
And so I started like cold emailing people.
Nice.
And I was like, hey, does it matter?
Right.
Because I just wanted to do it was almost like market research. I didn't know it at the time. That's what I was doing pretty much.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, would you hire someone who had a communications degree? Like, would you turn them down instead of a business? And I just started emailing. One guy wrote me back and he was like this big real estate guy. He was one of like the top producers in Wilmington. And he wrote me back and he was like, you don't have to have a degree to do what I do, much less like we don't hire off of that. And so I was like, that's pretty cool. And so I was like, well, like, can we just meet for coffee? Like, I just want to pick your brain. Like, I want to learn like what you do, what's it like. So we met up for coffee, had a great conversation. And we ended up, he said he was hiring an administrative assistant. Okay. And so it was like perfect timing. And so I was like, sure. Just kind of like one of those God things. So I started working as his administrative assistant and did that for a while until I got my real estate license.
That's cool.
And so I guess like in the middle of that, I found myself working a ton. I was making good money and I was like, I don't know if I want to stay in college. Yeah. And so I guess that was like one of those things to where it just kind of naturally, like I focused more on work than school and like grades were still good, but I was like, if I'm making money, if I'm enjoying what I do, like, do I need a college education?
Let it take off, brother.
And yeah, exactly. And so that's one of those things where I started, again, I did a ton of research of like, just what is it like to drop out of college? Like, what are the pros and cons? Like, I'm very analytical in making decisions. And so I just did a huge deep dive in that. And, I just decided that based on what I wanted in life and where I was going and like the opportunities that I had, I didn't want to slow the opportunities by getting a degree, which is what I felt like I was doing. And so I ended up just dropping out. I'll never forget, I walked out of my second semester midterm my freshman year and just never went back.
Yeah.
And it's like that was where I guess like I wouldn't be where I am today without that initial loss. And like there's been a ton of losses along the way that have made me kind of where I am now.
And
for sure.
In that moment, Chase, what did your support team say about that? What did your family and friends have to say about you dropping out?
Dude, I've been so blessed with just incredible support the entire way. My family's always been supportive, and they know that I follow my gut, and like I don't make a decision unless I think on it a lot and pray about it a ton. And so that was one big thing is like I always had family and friends who supported me. Friends, I mean, like they were always supportive, but I think all of my friends under their breath were like, yeah, go for it. And then they're like, what the heck is he doing?
Well, and that's there's a couple of people that are talking like that about me and Dustin right now, honestly. Yeah. Like there are probably a couple of people listening to this that are just like, yeah, that's really cool. But while we're talking about that, not to shy away from Chase, but I just wanted to say thank you for everybody else that's out there listening that's on the opposite end of that spectrum.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The feedback and love that Dustin and I have received has just been awesome.
It's immaculate, bro.
It's honestly bringing a tear. It'll bring a tear to my eye thinking about it because I was, surrounded by all of my friends and loved ones at Hunter Snow's wedding yesterday, and that's what they were coming up. Not being, oh, it's awesome that you have a podcast, not anything like that. It was, you guys are killing it. I'm so glad you're doing this. You and Dustin are, so, yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who's,
You know what the crazy part is? Me and Ben didn't talk for, since high school until, 3 months ago, whenever it was.
Yeah, I mean.
It was, a month probably before you come on the podcast the first time, right?
Yeah, when I was working in that basement job, I was telling you how much I hated it. And
Yeah,
I was like, dude, I'll come.
I'll come work for you right
He's
now.
like, I'll come hold your mic.
Yeah, seriously. I was like, dude, I'll come hold your bag. Like, I will do anything, and not like hold your bag.
That too. But
$20 is $20. But yeah, man, it was something that if you go back and listen through the podcasts that we've done, we get better every time we sit down, and every guest that comes on brings their own flavor. And that's also something that a lot of people said they enjoy hearing is, we're doing great, but the people that were coming on, they're doing great too.
yeah, you guys made me follow up Caleb. So I'm like, dang.
Well, and about that, we got some big news coming with that one, but I don't want to shy away from the guests that we have on. You're here, and we were going through your story, talking about your decisions to leave school and pursue a personal career.
Yeah, I want to stay on losses a minute, actually.
Yeah.
So, my thing is, what you read in my computer, my one note that I had for this
Yeah, I'm
podcast,
over here, leaning over
actually
his
don't
shoulder.
need this anymore.
Tosses the laptop.
No, I can't do that. So, losses being demonized. So, what I'm saying is, basically, dude, it's good for people to lose, have them losses. You want to lose in the micro, but win in the macro. You know what I'm saying? So, instead of giving a kid an 8th place trophy, I mean, they lost.
Yeah.
Let
Dude,
them lose.
I don't understand that because it's, everybody wants to be winners, but I think that you have to lose so many times along your path.
Exactly.
But, there's a few reasons why I believe it's important to lose. I think there's the initial learning the lessons, but I think it makes you appreciate success so much more.
It does, man.
Oh, yeah.
So much more.
And I wouldn't if I had there were times where I wanted a job or I wanted an opportunity and it didn't pan out, but I appreciate what I have now so much more. And I had this conversation with my dad the other day. I was like, I think I was riding down the road, and in the Jeep, top was off. Maddie was in the passenger seat, and she's my dream girl, dream person. She's an incredible human.
Oh, I'm dropping a shout out on the podcast,
Just
Maddie.
name dropping. But anyhow, we were riding down the road, and I'd just gotten back from Poland, and I was super happy. And Dustin, we talked about this a little bit with happy tears, but
Yeah.
it was one of those moments where I just started to cry because I was so appreciative of now, and the process that it took me to get there. But I wouldn't appreciate that if I hadn't failed just a ton of times leading up.
Temporary defeat.
Yeah, well, absolutely, and it just makes you appreciate it so much more.
does,
and
man.
that gratitude is it. But I think the problem with a lot of losses is a lot of people don't have the transparency and humility to like admit those losses.
Yeah, they can't reevaluate things.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
hard for them to understand.
Both of those points are 100% true, but also I think the majority of people, whenever they hit temporary defeat, they experience that, but then they also quit. They
Yeah.
say,
Oh, yeah.
you know, they don't try again.
Yeah.
So it took, and like this comes into my faith a lot too, but it gets to the point, and like I realized this a few years back, of every time that I fail or don't get something, I almost get more excited because I know that what's coming next is better.
The comeback.
And like that's such an exciting feeling. And again, it does play a lot in my faith of like knowing like the plan is gonna pan out.
It takes a while to get there, though.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But and that was the conversation I was having with my dad. I was like, Dad, like my life is 10 times cooler than I thought it would be at 18, than I thought it would be at 20.
Yeah.
My life is 10 times cooler than I thought it would be last year at this time.
Wait till you have a kid.
No, oh, dude, don't get me started on that.
That's gonna make it.
And
the
so
coolest.
like that's the thing is like life just and what my dad said is awesome. He was like, that's how it should be. He's
Yeah.
like, you shouldn't be able to like plan your life out and it be the way it happens and then you're just happy.
Yeah.
He's like, life is supposed to be cooler than you ever expected.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I feel like I'm glad your parents are like that, because like I feel like a lot of parents, like, they will tell you go to college or something like that, but it's because they want you to do better than they done in life. You know, they have that regret that they want you to follow a better path that they see for you. But you know, your parents are very supportive and like
Oh, yeah, I'm
push that
blessed. My
forward.
parents are the best, and they always supported me, and they always knew like if I did fail, you know, I would just go back to school, right? Like it's even if you do hit like rock bottom, like at 19, which is when I dropped out of school, or 19, like rock bottom's still not that bad, right? Like you can always kind of come back from that.
Especially our rock bottom. All of us are very fortunate.
Dude, absolutely. The families we have are awesome.
Well, and you know, coming from somebody who did fall I fell pretty far past rock bottom, some would say, and you know, when I'm so grateful, and it kind of goes back to the loss because I did lose time from my life. There are things that people share with me. There are stories that they say, hey man, whenever I run into anybody, they say, Ben, you remember this time you did this? And 80% of the time I'm like, no. And they tell me stories that I'm just like, gosh, I can't. Well, yeah, I can. But what I'm getting at is I am so grateful that I fell when I fell.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm glad that I went through all those losses before I had anything to lose. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have a good job. I didn't have a career. Still at mom and dad's house. Yeah. The only thing I had was a car, if I even had one at that point. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like, you know, I have a house, I have a kid, I got a car, I got jobs, I got responsibilities. Like, I am so glad that I have experienced those down times. That way I know that I can't even there's no way that they're ever going to happen again now. Right, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm glad it happened the way it happened.
Oh, and yeah. You don't want to go back.
You have to look at your losses, your failures, your mistakes. You have to look back at the moments that you're not proud of or you were disappointed, and you have to just say, all right. And then kind of like Chase is saying, well, exactly like Chase is saying, you know, just whatever's coming next is going to be dope.
Yeah, and that's how I mean, like, whether it's failed relationships, failed job opportunities, failed whatever, is like, okay, I thought that was going to be really cool. Like, the way that I pictured that was really cool, but that means something else is coming that's better. So it's all about the mindset and perspective. And so many people get caught in those losses and, like, let it pull them down. And I think it's so much about, like, what can be, the potential, what's going to be better. And I think that positivity, or even like realism, I mean, if you really look at it for what it is, and it's also a ton of trust in yourself. Is it like, okay, I took a loss here, but like, I'm going to make it better. Yeah. And so you have to take that accountability to be like, okay, this is on me. Like, I failed, it's on me. And so I'm going to make it better. Like, I'm going to have a better life.
Some people, and this is something that I've wondered about for a long time because, you know, I was one of these people. I would hear positive, encouraging things. Like, people along the way tried to, you know, pick me up, and they would say, Ben, like, seriously, like, they wouldn't physically slap me in the face, but they would mentally, like, slap, Ben, what the hell are you doing? You know, like, what,
I've been that person before.
Yeah, like, you know, like,
but only you can change for yourself.
Yeah, and like, I remember, like, I would have conversations with Ben, like, come on, man. But I think you have to learn on your own. And I was fortunate to have parents who let me learn on my own, whether that was as a child or like getting older. Like, they've always told me, like, we'll let you learn and like fail and learn the hard way, but we're never going to let you fall on your face.
Yeah. Well, see, it's kind of like we're told from a very young age, right? Like kindergarten, first grade, that we can do whatever we want. We can be anything. Like, we can be president, we can be astronaut. And that is not a falsity. Like, we have been told that from a very young age. Hey, man, like, that was, my teacher said that to me every grade in school. That was you literally can. But when you hear that so often, and that's, you know, what you're brought up in, I think it's easier for that to come in the ear and be like, oh, yeah, you can do anything you want, bro. And it's like, all right, well, what can I really do? You know, like, I'd love to be an astronaut, but let's be realistic here. And, like, it makes it kind of cheesy and corny to say, dude, like, stay positive. If you want to, go get it. Like, rise and grind, you know? Like,
and, like, I feel like that's also almost a problem, is because they're always like, you can be president, you can be an astronaut, but like, who wants to be an astronaut? You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be away from my family and friends up in space. So like, I think that like what I think that it should be as we're growing up is like, you can do whatever you love. Sure. I think that's what it should be, rather than like, you can be this. Yeah. And I think that it should be like finding your path.
You have to too, because like, you're not put here to do but like certain things. Like, I can't go out there and be a singer. Like, no. I just can't. No matter how, I don't care how much I want it. I'm not meant to be a singer. Like, you got to know what you was put here to do also. Right. And if you love something, you can usually find the passion and do it and learn how to do it. Yeah, some people are born into entrepreneurship and some are not. I think a lot of people trying to get entrepreneurship now, it's just
entrepreneurs.
You got to be built. You got to be built for it, bro. It's an emotional roller coaster. It's a lonely road. It's a whole different ballgame.
Dude, I can't, like, the loneliness in entrepreneurship is real.
Yeah. But you can't explain yourself because nobody understands
no one gets it. Man, that's one thing that, you know, I dropped out of college And what I found was like as I grew into, because I mean I started my like adulthood, you could say like 4 years early, and all my friends were in college still. Like they had this like I don't know. There were best way to explain it is like in college you have millions of people across the world who understand the problems you're dealing with.
Yeah.
It's like you have like, oh, we have a test on Friday. Like I can empathize with you. Like as an entrepreneur, there are so many things that it's like
On your own.
there's no one that can relate. And as you're going through the path, especially as you're taking losses and like in dark places, and like that's just a part of it. Like there's no one to empathize with you. You can tell someone a situation and they're like, "Oh, that sucks," but I don't think like they understand.
Can't fully
it.
understand.
No, like, really,
seriously,
you can't
yeah.
fully understand it unless you're in that position. And that's one thing that I struggled with for a long time was like feeling very lonely in that path.
Oh yeah.
And even today, like I mean, you got to think like I work from home. I have an office. Like I'm in my office by myself.
Yeah.
And it's like the problems that I run into, like it's on me.
Sure.
Like there's a lot of pros and cons to it, but it's
like
lonely.
I've moved out of my studio actually, and I'm back home now just because I was so lonely in that office, bro, and I just couldn't get like at first when I was in there, I was like, yeah, man, this is great. You know, I've got my own space, and it was huge. It looked good.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it is. And then like after the first month, I was like, man, nah, screw this.
Right.
I was like, this is depressing.
Right. It's
I
like
found myself at the coffee shop every day
just
for
to
like
get
2
like,
months.
dude, I've been that way. Like I've spent more money on coffee than I would rent.
Bro,
And I
yes.
think like it's about like entrepreneurship is so glorified. And it's this whole idea
not.
of like, but you only see people like who are successful entrepreneurs because that's all
But
people tell about.
You only hear,
right.
yeah,
But like
tell
that's
about
the
it right there.
problem
You
with
said
it is like, dude, no, like I'll sit here and tell you about the time that I had 19 cents in my bank account and I like was depressed and I didn't know what I was gonna do with my life and I didn't know how I was gonna pay rent. And again, I'm so blessed to have a family that supports me. But like everyone talks about, oh, like I could be like, oh, I work for an international company, right? Like I'm number 2 at an international company. Like that sounds so cool. But I would rather tell you about the time that, you know, I was driving back. So after I dropped out of college, long story short, the real estate guy that I was working for essentially got busted for fraud.
Oh, wow.
And so, like, I
man.
dropped out of college to work for this dude, and then he got busted. Like, he lost his position at the company, and I didn't have a job.
Yeah.
Man.
And so I remember I had 19 cents in my bank account, and I got a manager job at GNC.
Nice.
Dude, imagine my family though, and like that's a great job. That's not what I wanted though.
Sure.
And so like imagine my family like Chase dropped out of college, and like now he's managing a retail store. And like again, managing a retail store, it's an awesome career, and I don't want to down that. But like that's not where I was on the path.
And they
for.
knew that. That's the thing.
They knew that. They knew that wasn't what I wanted.
And they
And
also
so-
probably loved those discounts on those supplements
Oh,
too.
dude, absolutely.
Yeah, you
like
can,
cheap
yeah.
protein, come on, baby. And I think like that's what a lot of people leave out is like they see where I'm at now, and then they don't talk about like, okay, the loneliest I've ever felt, and I don't know if I might have told my parents this, but so it was my birthday, so it was before Christmas, and I remember I would have been a sophomore in college, and I just left home, like Mount Airy, with my like family for my birthday, and I'm driving back to Wilmington, and my entire family and friends and everyone from college, like they're back home with their family for the month of December, because like they're college students, like that's what you do, you go back and be with your family, and I remember driving like back to Wilmington, and I'd gotten a call from my boss saying like I needed to go strip the floors at the store, and like. I remember being like, what the heck, man?
Yeah.
Because like I'm you know, I was supposed to go off in real estate and be super successful, and like I had success in real estate at a later time. Like this was like a big hit.
Right.
And so I remember like just being by myself in Wilmington, none of my friends there, like no family there, and just being like, God, why?
Yeah.
And I remember this is something cool too, because it puts a lot of things in perspective. Is like if you're in a position that you don't want to be, I think sometimes we have to look and be like, you may not be in that position for you. Like, yeah, like it's going to make you appreciate the long run. But I was like, what if someone comes in the store today that like needs some sort of positivity? And like me talking to them or that conversation that I gave them that day, like maybe they need that more than like I need to be with family or friends or whatever. And so like, I think God puts you in positions for like other people as well. And I think it's like that selfless mindset of like, okay, well, like I'm here for a reason. So either I need it or someone else does.
Right.
For sure.
But anyhow, to get back on that, like entrepreneurship is so glorified, and like truth of the matter is like it sucks in a lot of times.
You know, you were talking about when other people approach you, and I've experienced this, I'm sure Dustin has, like, anybody has really, and it's interesting because people will reach out to you and say, hey man, I'm glad to see you doing so well. Like, I'm happy you're successful. Like, I'm proud, like, but what is success? Is it universal? Does success mean the same thing to everybody? Meaning, like, am I any less successful if I have a $50,000 job a year, or if I'm making, $1.2 million annually?
Success is happiness.
Yeah.
For me, for sure.
I mean, ultimately, dude, it's not a straight line. It includes all these losses. It includes all these curves. It's not the same. Success is not the same thing for me that it's going to be for you. Like, it's individual. And I think a lot of people get caught up on, man, I have to make this much money a year to be successful. I have to drive this car. I have to have this house. I have to live here. I have to do all these things in order to be classified as successful. Like, it's a classification. The only thing you have to do to be successful is appreciate your life and love it. Like, seriously. Anything you do when you love it and you're appreciative of what's going on, that is successful. Like, it's individual.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talking about becoming successful.
Yeah, Ben's getting a little emotional. I like it. Look at the passion.
You have to have it.
Passion. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good
Passion.
one. Yeah, we're just letting you continue, man.
Yeah,
you keep
you're
riding along.
I mean,
bro.
I agree with you. I think, like, there's two, like, I think the path to quote unquote success is individualized. And I think that, like, success is individualized by the person, like, what matters to you. Like, for me, like, family matters a lot. And I mean, I'm someone who I hate being stagnant. So as long as I feel like I'm progressing in my career and, like, I'm growing, and my family's taken care of, dude, I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to have. I started a note when I was in college and starting to drop out, and I was like, millionaire by 30.
Right.
And I was like, I look at that now. I was actually looking at it before I headed over here, and I was like, dude, like, I could care less about being a millionaire. Like, if I have a higher chance of following what I care about and what matters to me and, like, wanting to continue to progress to become a millionaire than if I was like, okay, I'm going to have this much money in my bank account at this time and I'm going to do this. And I just don't think that, like, I would rather impact 1 million lives than have $1 million.
But
like, that's
the thing
that's
is,
stuff that
bro,
matters.
if you know how to optimize and you follow your passion, say you're a street performer, right?
Yeah.
You make, just say $35,000, $40,000. You can optimize by posting that on YouTube, and maybe eventually that, dude, if you keep doing what you love and do it with good sense,
Sincerity.
then, yeah, exactly. The money's going to come.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be there eventually.
And if it doesn't, that's okay too.
But yeah, you can't think about the money. You just
No.
got to love what you're doing and enjoy it. And that's something I've struggled with, especially at the beginning, man. Like, I was broke, bro.
Dude, you have to eat a lot of crap to get where you should be. Like, unless you just hit it off, like, you're just some viral sensation, like, overnight. Like,
yeah, it's hard.
Dude, you have to eat a lot of crap to get
Yeah, man.
You got to struggle before you can strive. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. It's a process.
I promise you right now, I still get in these moments where I talk crap. I'm like, man, I got to have more money, blah, blah, blah. Of course you're going to when you're, like, in the struggle or whatever. But, like, I can tell you right now, I would have done quit if all I cared about was the money.
Yeah.
Like, I've got good retainers and stuff now, but the first 4 or 5 months, man, God.
And
Pulling back
don't
the
get me
rubber
started.
band, man. Like, you got to pull back that rubber band and, like, put in the work, and then
Yeah.
Well, and a part of it is, you do have to motivate yourself. Like, you say, like, hey, man, we have to, like, this is how my family is going to eat. So, like, let's do it.
And it's hard to sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't matter whether you're an entrepreneur or if you're working at Jay's HVAC. Exactly.
Hey, always a perfect 72, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
But, see, we're sitting here talking about success, and I'd like to share a story about how I successfully got rocked for the first time ever. And Chase was actually there for it. So back in the day, Chase and I were really close, and we played football together. Our families got really close. We were, it was that type of bromance, I guess you would call it. We never made out. But anyway,
I'm happy you clarified that, because I'm sure people at home are like, but
some people at home were like, they did.
They were friends, but
undisclosed information.
People's Magazine is gonna be like breaking news.
Hey, man.
There was NDA signed before this.
Listen. Okay. Anyway, Chase and I were really cool friends, and we were fortunate enough to be able to go on a Carnival Cruise together.
3, right?
Yeah, a couple.
Yeah.
And you know what? Before we get into this, I got away from telling the cruise stories because a lot of people were like, "Oh, Richie, you're so rich, you can go on a Carnival."
Really?
Yeah, dude, the Carnival Cruise is
Dude,
like,
it's cheaper than going to Myrtle Beach.
yeah,
it
it's like,
is,
dude,
bro.
like, look it up.
Yeah, I love to use like pause. Carnival. This
They're cheap
podcast
as
is brought
shit.
to you by Carnival Cruise.
But
Where's my money?
yeah, and it's a great time, like seriously. But
It is, bro. Like when you tell people, yeah, man, I've been to the Bahamas like 7 times.
yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
On a cruise, bro. Like,
like-
they're not that bad.
oh yeah,
You can spend a lot of money on them.
Oh yeah, but
you
you can
don't have
also
to.
not spend a dime, dude.
Yeah.
Go like you get unlimited food.
Unlimited
I'm getting
food.
passionate, dude. Cruise is like the best part of my childhood.
is. It was
but
so
you're
much
right.
fun.
I mean, like it's cheaper than going to Myrtle Beach. Maddie and I went down to Charleston for 5 days, and we could have went on a cruise.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we could easily
It's
go on a cruise.
ridiculous.
Anyway,
Back to your story.
no man, like I just wanted to,
Shedding a tear over here.
Anyway, we were on a cruise, and they on the Carnival cruises they broke it up to like individual.
You guys can't see it, but Ben is just like massaging his mustache.
You will
as
see
he's
it if you
going
watch it on
through
YouTube. This is going to be the first video posted on YouTube.
This is the Fu Manchu, baby, and let me tell you something about this before I get on. I did not have this Fu Manchu whenever this guy cleaned my clock, but if I did,
He wouldn't have cleaned it.
yeah, he would have. Oh man, he would have lost an hour. Daylight savings.
You're violating that mic.
Oh baby. Oh.
You can hear his Jolly Rancher. He's like,
ASMR.
just crushing it.
Let me fix this for you. Like this, and then turn this.
Oh.
There.
Oh
There you
yeah,
go.
that's a nice.
All right, continue with
note
your
we could-
story. The people are wondering.
All right, yeah. So, Chase and I were on the cruise, and we were coming of age. We were like 15.
In our prime, baby. What
We
are
were
you
like
talking about?
15, 16.
Like, no, we were 14.
Coming
I
of
think
age. I thought we were
14.
talking about 21.
I think I was 14. You were 15.
Yeah.
I'm still not in my prime. Shut up, Dustin.
Yeah.
I'm be like 45, like I'm in my prime.
Yeah, you know?
Mentally.
But yeah, we were 14 and 15, and on those ships, obviously, well, I mean, if you knew how to get in, you couldn't. They separated everything, so
much fun.
the 14 and 15s and 16-year-old kids, they were in their own thing, and then 18 and above, and of course 21 and up, whatever. But they separated it, give them something to do. And Chase and I were walking around. We had met a couple of ladies, and
They had the juice back in the day.
yeah, and so did Chase. I mean,
Chase, man, he was bad, bro.
No.
Chase was.
Dude, I've never had a game. Everybody thinks I have game. I have no game.
Nah, man. I remember girls would come up to me like, Chase is just a player, isn't he? And I was just like,
Yeah.
But like they
no.
never met me. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Like I'm the biggest.
If
like,
anything, I would
romantic, like whatever. And they're like, I just know he's a player.
I bet he talks to so many girls.
No, dude, I don't.
But
I don't know, middle school, bro.
The middle school doesn't count.
middle school is
That's
like
what we're talking about right now. You was in middle school?
Middle
right?
school
Nah,
is
yeah,
like-
we were in middle school.
Exactly.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Middle
They
school-
were right then. Like, I'll give them that.
it's kind of like fertilizer before the flower blossoms. Middle school.
Right.
That's what I call it.
Right.
That's how I look at it.
People listening to this right now, like, holy, get the on with it.
Well,
Yeah, we don't know what happened on this Carnival Cruise, but they have
Yeah.
fantastic food at cheap rates.
Carnival, give me a deal, bro. Just I don't even care if we get paid. Carnival, send us a free cruise, the
Yeah,
three of us
exactly.
right now, and we'll do a podcast for a week on
You're
your
about
ship.
to tell them the story about how you got to fight on the cruise and you want them.
No, it wasn't even a fight. Yeah, let's get to the story. All
It
right.
wasn't because you got
Yeah, it wasn't even a fight. That's what I'm saying. Like that's why I can't. Earlier I said I didn't lose because there wasn't a competition. Like it was just a fucking, But anyway,
context.
Chase and I had met these girls, and honestly, I cannot remember any names. Okay, so we're just gonna go like we did on.
We're probably still friends on Facebook.
Probably.
The climax on this story is real, bro.
And we were hanging out, chilling throughout the week, and I think it was towards the end of the ship, the trip. It was towards the end of the trip, and
That dude was at the front of the ship, so it's the end of the ship.
and had to do it twice. But gosh, my memory is so fuzzy. That's what's
Anyhow, Ben tried to be tough in front of these girls as these dudes walked by and said something.
Oh yeah, we were chilling, and Chase and I were just being Chase and Ben. And this guy's like, pussies. And I was like Chase was 100%
like,
cool to just let him walk
dude,
by
I
and
don't
say
think
it.
he said that. Like, I think,
Ben just remembers it.
I know Ben, and Ben said something, and this dude like wasn't having it. And then Ben was trying to be tough and squared up. I didn't again. If it was a fight, like I'm like, all right, if I need to help Ben, I will. But you don't fight another man's battles.
And it wasn't even a fight.
Yeah. You know what I would like to talk, if we're talking about cruises. Okay, so anyhow, Ben got a fight. It's a short story. So what I want to talk about is the time that they almost stopped a boat. Is the last cruise we went on, probably because of this. But we're on a cruise and
probably because of this.
and so we're on the last cruise we ever went on as a group. And I remember waking up the last morning of the cruise and Mom and Dad telling me that they almost stopped the ship because they thought that Ben was overboard.
Yeah.
Because he had a curfew of like midnight because he had gotten in trouble earlier in the cruise.
God.
Yeah.
And no, he's just gonna take this one. And so it's the last night of the cruise. So like we made this awesome friend group. We're hanging out in this library. No, dude, cruise friends are like another level of friends.
Family,
if
bro.
any of our cruise friends are out there, like I hope you're doing well.
And if you are,
Oh man.
tell your friends about the Rise and Grind podcast.
But so it's like the last night of the cruise, and so you have all these like deep, connected, rooted friends, and we're hanging out in this library, and it's often like some weird part of the boat. And I remember Ben had a curfew of like midnight, and it was 3 a.m. when we decided. Like, I went to bed at 3 a.m. and like Ben was still there. And I woke up the next morning, and they were like, yeah, like they thought Ben was overboard. They called the head of security. They were watching camera footage, could not find us. And apparently all of the security people were looking around the boat for us, and they had 15 minutes remaining when Ben got back, or else they were going to have to stop the ship and assume that he was overboard. Because we were just tucked away in a place where like they didn't think that we could be there. And so Ben almost stopped an entire Carnival Cruise because they thought he was overboard.
But I've got a story actually on a cruise ship.
The nostalgia in his face right now is priceless.
I am trying to, like, what were we doing?
We were just chilling. Like, it's not
Playing
like
Jenga. We were playing Jenga.
we were doing hood rat stuff. Yeah, like we were just chilling.
I want to say
out.
something though. You don't sleep on cruises. Like me, everybody knows me, bro.
No
Everybody
shot.
knows me. I get my sleep.
Yeah.
You catch me on a cruise ship 7 days a week, bro. I'm up 24
Dude,
hours.
absolutely.
Well, they have those 24-hour like coffee spots,
Pizza?
and pizza, and
And ice
sushi,
cream,
and
man.
Oh
sandwiches.
God, don't get me started, bro.
Dude, Carnival, hook us up, man.
For real, man.
I'm telling you, we will come on and we will do a week-long podcast on the ship.
Like
I'm pretty sure
that would be
straight
fun.
week-long
That'd
bike,
be
no
fun.
sleep.
Just no
roll
sleep.
through it.
You know, and while I'm sitting here remembering, they have guys like us that work on the ship they already have that going on. They already
Yeah.
do that, just
Not
not
like-
They
podcast.
literally
us.
have podcast people on the cruise.
Yeah, but
They
they're
don't
just not
have
filming.
us.
But you know, yeah, I got lost, I got rocked, and that really was
Lost at sea.
that. I'm thankful I didn't.
Could you imagine?
Let's see, lost, rocked.
There was something. We went on a few, and like something happened every time. Like,
Bro,
Ben could not get in trouble. Also, my posture's trash.
Tell
like
me
chairs.
about it. I think
Sitting
it's chairs.
here, I'm
It's
like,
the
my
chairs.
posture's trash.
Oh no, it's these chairs, bro.
My favorite.
Because you can't.
My favorite thing I think I've ever done in the presence of Chase. It was we were on a cruise. I don't know if it was the same one, but it was on a beach on a Mexico, not the Mexico. It was on
On
one
a
of them.
Mexico?
Yeah, we were on a beach in Mexico, and we got off the boat for like 3 or 4 hours, and it was all inclusive. Something like they had a restaurant, they had a bar, they had a pool, they had a swim up pool bar. You know, like you could go swimming with dolphins, like all this cool stuff. And it was basically like boat pulls up, you're there for 4 hours, you know, have fun, just be back. Don't be late because they will leave you. This is what my
Yeah.
they
We
will.
used to sit on the
They
on the
will.
edge of the cruise ship and
And
just
watch.
watch as people were just sprinting, like hitting the 40-yard dash.
Because
with
half the people,
speed.
they don't have nothing with them.
And they're trash. Like people coming back from these islands are
bad.
smacked. And Ben's like, it couldn't be one of those people.
Yeah. Yeah. But funny enough, Chase looks at me and he's like, hey, man, like, what do you want to do? And we were in Mexico. I was Breaking Bad. I saw a swim up pool bar.
Oh, dude,
And I wanted to, I said, dude, I'm getting in the pool. And he's like, all right, bro, I think I'm going to go swim with dolphins. Like, kind of subconsciously
That's like
told
pretty
me.
much our friendship. It's like, I'm gonna go swim with dolphins. You're like, I'm gonna go to the bar.
But so I watch him, and he's like, all right, I'll see you later. And I really did not anticipate staying in that swim up pool bar this long.
The entire time.
No, I really didn't. Like, I swam up. I didn't even expect it to work, honestly. But it's Mexico. They don't care.
They're like, you can see over the bar?
Yeah.
Here's a shot.
She said, I was like, but I didn't even know what to order. And I saw it. I was just like, can I have a pineapple juice and vodka? Like, I was just like, yeah. And she just made it for me. And it was delicious. Like, I sat there, and all of a sudden found these people from West Virginia come, and they sit down in the pool next to me, and they're really cool. So, 15, 16-year-old Ben sitting in a bar getting drunk with
Ben
West
can talk to
Virginians.
brick wall, but you put alcohol in him, and he's your best friend.
And I'm running through that brick wall too.
Yeah.
But so in all this time, I had no idea that we only had 4 hours and then it was going to take that long. So I'm just sitting there getting drunk with these people from West Virginia. Chase is over there swimming with dolphins with some girls. And I saw the girls, and I was like, all right.
This.
Oh, yeah, you do. You'll know exactly what I'm getting at. So I was like, all right, I'm going to get out. And I gave this lady a high five, and my class ring flew off my hand, and she monkey-toed it, like picked it up with her foot from a pool. And that was so gross, but I was so grateful that she found it. So I was just like, like handed it to me with her foot. Like, did not pick it up with her hand and give it to me. Fucking monkey-toed it and dropped it in my hand.
She was expecting something in return.
Yo,
I think
she
she
was
wanted me to-
waiting her entire life for that. She's like training at home, like picking stuff up with her toes.
forks and rings.
She's like, this
She's like,
is
I
my
would need-
moment.
I would need these one day.
Well, I remember that just because I was just like, oh, no. And I got it back on, and I'm walking out, and I see like Chase out in the water talking to like 4 girls by himself. And I think that's where, that reputation we was talking about. Chase is a player. No,
Chase is not a
he wasn't like, but he was talking to 4 chicks by himself, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so I'm lit. Like, I'm lit, and I see Chase, and I remember waving, and he just said, like, Chase laughed. He was like, holy shit. Hey, yeah, that's Ben. And I came up, and I said something to him. I was like, hey, ladies, I'll be back later. I'll run into you guys later or whatever. I'm going up here, just being ridiculous. Like,
As one does.
yeah. And I turned around. I was looking for my family, but I saw this lady doing temporary tattoos on the beach. And I said, oh, yeah. I said, forget what I was looking for. Let's go see what she's got. This was before any tattoo that I currently have on my body, and I thought this was the greatest idea. I contemplated getting this tattoo, actually, permanently. But I walk up to this lady, and it's hair braidings on one side and henna tattoos on the other.
And you said, I have a tough decision to make.
Yeah, right there. I was just like, dude, I've always wanted both. And she said, okay, what you want? And I was like, I guess a tattoo. And she was like, okay, what do you want? And she did not have the prices attached to these things. She sold me, but it was an easy sell. I'm 15 drunk. Dude,
that's like taking candy from a baby.
Yeah, seriously. And Mexico,
Oh, you know your ABCs? I got you.
Yeah. So it was a Mickey Mouse tattoo.
Oh, my God.
And I wanted it on my forearm, and he just had his hands behind his back. Mickey Mouse is just kicking a rock or something. Oh, that was the coolest shit ever. I was just like, dude, that's Mexico.
But like, if you know Ben, like everyone on that cruise ship, he showed that tattoo. Like, it wasn't one of those things where he's like, oh, like cool, like I'm just gonna rock this. It was like, hey, random person, I've never met you, I don't know you, but look at my tattoo. And I'm happy he outgrew that, because that would be really uncomfortable if you get to be an adult.
Oh man. But so I picked it. I picked Mickey Mouse, and she knew what she was doing. She's like put it on me and then asked for the money.
Choice of words.
She gave me the tattoo.
There we go.
She gave me the tattoo, and she made me like, when it came time to pay, and I realized I had left my wallet at the bar.
Oh, God.
So I had already taken something from this lady, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna be one of those guys that doesn't come back. I'm going. And so I gave her something to hold, like as collateral. Like I was like that worried about
Just
it.
a t-shirt.
You're like, here are my swim trunks. Like,
Something like that. And so I'm walking back to the bar. I get my wallet. I pass Chase, and I see his dad. Like Chase and his mom were out in the water, and Kevin, his father, was coming over to like talk to me. And I'm pretty sure Kevin took one look at me and he was like, yeah, you're sauced, brother. And I've always admired your dad for this, because instead of, freaking out or going straight
He's a real
yeah,
one.
instead
He's
of going straight to
Kevin
my
is,
dad, he was just like, hey man, are you good? Like he talked to me for a second.
Yeah.
And I truly feel like he would not have let me continue if he didn't believe in me, but he was like, I'm not going to tell your dad, but are you okay? Like, because if you're not,
he's always been cool about it. Like, he's like, because that's why I've never been a big drinker, is because he was always, my parents were always like, drink if you want to drink, like just be safe. And I was like,
dude,
you mean it's not like, it's not cool at that point, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like,
I remember
That's the way you parent, bro.
yeah, I had the best, I still have the best parents.
I rember one night.
Wait, hold on. Did you pay this woman or what?
Oh yeah. Sorry, man. A lot of memories coming up right now, man. But anyway, so I passed Chase and I was like, "Hey, ladies," and blah, 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 blah. And I just kept walking. So I get back, and I talked to Kevin, and he was like, "Yeah, you're good." And so I went and grabbed my wallet, and I told your dad. I was like, "Dude, look," and he just cried. He's like,
If there was any question of like whether or not you were drunk, in his mind, he saw the tattoo and was like,
"Oh yeah,
yep."
But thank God it was a temporary tattoo. Like a lot of people go to Mexico, get shit faced, get a real one. Like anyway.
Yeah.
So I got my wallet and I'm walking back, and I thought it was going to be like 15 or maybe $20. It was $45. $45, bro. And there I was just
That's
like,
expensive in Mexico, bro.
well, I mean, that was an expensive 5-day tattoo, you jackass. What are you talking about? And I gave it to her, and yeah, it was great. I was honestly hoping, like, there was seriously a point in my life where I was gonna get that henna again, and then have someone like literally do it.
Yeah.
I'm so nothing against Mickey Mouse, but that did not happen.
Yo, there's some like Disney adults right now listening to this, like, what?
Well, and I
We'll
think
never
it's,
sponsor him.
That's not. It's Mickey Mouse Disney.
yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It's not Nickelodeon.
For a second, I was like, "Is that Warner Brothers? Is Warner Brothers? I don't."
Mom! The meatloaf! We're starving down here! Anyway.
I never know what she's doing. What is she doing?
I don't know what she's doing,
never
man.
know what she's
We're
doing.
sitting down here waiting on Dustin. I'm hoping Dustin doesn't
I never
can
know
starve.
what she's doing.
Mom! Dustin, tell the story on the cruise!
That's such a good movie, man.
The meatloaf!
Can that be the intro? Can that be the intro?
It probably will be, actually.
Anyway, here the three of us sit towards the end of a pretty good podcast. I would say, like I said, we get better every time we do it. Chase, it's your
Schmuck.
your flavor schmuck. Flavor schmuck. What is that? No, man.
I'm
Is
gonna
there-
start saying that.
Is there anything that you wanted to talk about? We got this time with the freedom of the internets.
What's your life advice
Yeah.
to someone who is 15 in the struggle, 20 in the struggle, whatever
Hey,
it might be?
perfect question. Here we go. If you could go back and tell something to that 15-year-old Chase,
What would it
Dude,
be?
I don't think I'd tell him anything. It's like I just have to
Perfect.
learn things the hard way. I think like if I could give advice to like a younger kid, it's just like always bet on yourself.
Roll with the
And
punches.
just be a good person, man. Like that's one of the things. Like if I could look back and I'm, 50 years old, like I don't want to be known as like this serial entrepreneur, like start a business. Like I just want to be known as a good person.
Yeah.
you say serial entrepreneur?
Serial killer.
No.
Entrepreneur.
So you
I've
said
never killed anybody.
No, but like you want a cereal? We're making a
Yeah,
cereal?
dude. Like
Is that-
cornflakes I'm coming for him.
Serial
Cinnamon Toast
entrepreneur.
Coming for him. All right, man. Well, I had one serious moment and you just took it from me.
He did. He's straight. He sweat. Dude, yeah. He took the
No,
rug right out
seriously,
from you.
seriously. I mean, I think if I could give like that one advice is you may never know what someone else is going through.
100%.
And just like be kind, man. Like there's been people where I've been down and like they don't know what small things have meant. There's been people like that I'm sure I didn't know what it meant when I had an interaction with them. So just like, just be a good person. And I had something else, but I lost it. So yeah.
Well, that's the thing, bro. When you're in those dumps and you have that one small thing that is positive
dude,
happen,
it
you
did.
can't explain how it made you feel. Like it's a whole
absolutely.
different level.
Thing.
Sometimes I'll be on meetings and I'm like, what did I just say?
Bro, me too.
Like words will come out and it just doesn't. It doesn't make sense.
It's because you want to say so much, but you've got so little that you've thought through, and it just doesn't come out right.
I don't think I speak. I speak.
That's why you shut up and listen, kids.
Yeah, listen more than you talk.
But we're going to go get some brunch now. Chase, we thank you for coming on, bro.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem.
We could have went way longer on this. This was a good podcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll definitely,
Episode 2?
Yeah, maybe
round 2.
Yeah, round 2.
Absolutely.
I heard they checking for me, no one checking on me, so I had to go run up a check. I got the message on me, ain't no flexing on me.